Try to imagine your ex wants to divorce. She has a drug problem, but tells the judge and the attorney that you have the problem. Then you have to try to rescue every step of the way with every legal contention you can find, how to get yourself out of the situation. You're now a victim, you're no longer who you were. And you're implicated by perception, and there is no better place to find fault with someone than the family court nearest you. The adversarial civil court is uncivil and has the ability to make you feel like you've done something wrong. The case you are about to hear of is a good example of why we need to stay out of court and what could happen to you through no fault of your own. I have with me Tim Bittroff. Is that how it's spelled?
Sir.
Okay, Bittroff, father who's facing jail because the judge had erred. Let's try to bring us up to speed on what the story is like. Tell the audience as many things as you can about the story. And
Basically, in 2011, August of 2011, I came home from work like I normally did, 6 days a week. I was running a construction company at that time, for about 25 years. I came home, she told me she didn't love me anymore. She found somebody she was interested in. She wanted me to leave the house. I was shocked. I never saw this coming. And we were together approximately 22 years. I figured, okay, I'll give her a couple of days. I'll leave, I'll give her a couple of days, and this would be worked out. That time never came. I left the house. The boyfriend that she was dating moved into my house. 2 days after I was gone, I had a 4 and a 6-year-old. Immediately following that, my kids were kept from me. About approximately 2 weeks later, I was receiving phone calls. My children were stealing her phone and basically hiding in the closet to call me. They called me. They told me they were scared, everything else. They wanted to see me. So I went over to the house, and she told me to leave. I said, if I leave, the children are coming with me. I was attacked in my kitchen. I had scratch marks going down my face. I had blood. I called 911. She ran out of the house. The officer came, filled out the report. I didn't speak with her that whole evening. The next evening, it was about 11:30 p.m. and a sheriff showed up at my door, and he handed me an order of protection, which included my children and the address of my home.
was she physically harmed, by the way? Did you do anything with her in the fight or something, in the scuffle that caused her to, okay.
No, after that, and I picked up the phone and called 911, she just took off.
Okay.
Okay. Her mother just happens to be a family court attorney. So she ran to her mother's house. Like I said, the following evening, I put the children to bed. I heard a knock at the door. I answered the door. It was a sheriff. They handed me an order of protection. I've never been handed an order of protection before. I had no idea what this meant. The sheriff told me that he was very busy and he couldn't explain it. If I needed further explanation, to call 911 and have Suffolk County Police come down to the house. So that's what I did. An officer came to the house. I went outside. I spoke to him. This is approximately 1:30 in the morning at that time. I spoke to him. The officer told me, as of right now, technically you were served with an order of protection. You shouldn't be here. I should arrest you right now. I pleaded with him. I told him my 2 small children were in the house. I had nobody I can call for them to go to. And this
At that time, you were in the house with the 2 kids?
With the children.
Nobody else was there?
Nobody else was there.
Go ahead.
I gave the police officer her number. And they were trying to contact her. Her phone was going straight to voicemail. I was keeping in contact because I didn't want to get in trouble. So I was keeping in contact with the police every day and letting them know what's going on. For 4 days, they were trying to call her. They couldn't get in touch with her. Her phone was going straight to voicemail.
So you had the kids for the 4 days without?
I did, yes.
Yeah, you had the
yes,
kids without.
after I was served with the order of protection.
And she never okay.
Okay, finally, approximately 4 days later, I had a knock at the door. The police told me they spoke with her, and I had 5 minutes to leave the house. I explained the whole story again to the police officer. Sergeants came down, a captain came down. At that time, they could not get in touch with her again, and it was in the middle of the night, and my kids were sleeping. They were threatening me that they were going to take me to jail, take my kids to CPS.
They were going to take the kids. I was going to say, who's going to take the kids? Okay.
Right. They were going to take my kids. CPS was going to come. A social worker was going to come, pick up my kids, and they would contact family members in the morning. I pleaded with them, please don't do this, please don't do this. Finally, they agreed that it wasn't in the best interest of the children to pull them out of the bed in the middle of the night.
Good idea.
Yes. So they left me with the children. The following day, she had called me and told me that she was coming to the house. I called 911 immediately and said, I don't know what to do. My children are here. I don't have nobody that can run here and stay with the children. I don't want to leave my 4 and 6 year old by themselves.
Right.
911 instructed me, if she shows up, you see her pull up at the house, lock the doors, call 911 immediately. That's exactly what I did. The officer came to the house. Several officers came to the house. I told my story. She told her story. They went outside. They looked in their computer, saw the order of protection, and came in and said, "Mr. Bittroff, turn around, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest." I said, "But I've been in contact with you guys for 4 days. She's been nowhere to be found. Your officers have been calling her." I was served with an order of protection to stay away from her, the children, and my home, but then she disappeared for 4 days and left me with the children.
Yes, yeah, you were under the impression that the facts mean something.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
We all think that what's happening, yeah. Well, what happened after, just to speed the story up a little bit, because I got a bunch of questions to ask. I can't get to them if I'm going to have not knowing what happened. So a little bit further along down the line, what happened to you?
A little further on down the line, you know, I was, the order of protection stood. They wound up taking the kids out of the order of protection. As time went on, every couple of weeks, every 3 or 4 weeks, my phone would ring. The police said they were looking for me. It was another issue with the order of protection. Every time I was locked up and I got out and got my property from the sheriffs.
How many times were you locked up?
17 times.
Jeez. Oh.
Okay. Over the years, over the last 7 years, I was slapped by her with an order of protection for my children. I'd say close to at least 10 times. Every single time when I answered the order of protection for my children, it was always unfounded. They would drop it, they would give me visitation. 3 weeks later, I was arrested. I'd go to court, she'd slap another order of protection on for the kids. This went on and on and on.
No one stepped in and said, you know, this is a little unreasonable.
Never. No one
Because
ever.
there was no founded claim against you.
Right.
There was no rationale to make that would state that you were somehow violent,
Right.
and that the kids were somehow dangerous
Right.
living under your domain. So that should have been stopped. They should have addressed it to her.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that went on for quite a few years. I couldn't move on with my life. I was sleeping on people's couches. I couldn't think. I couldn't work. My mind was all messed up.
Were you still seeing the kids at that point, or no? Or not often enough.
At that point, no. There was about a year, between a year and a half, that I was ordered to stay away from my children. I wound up staying at a friend's house, which lived very close to my ex-wife's best friend, and there was a time where I saw my kids pull up at the house, and they saw me, and they're screaming, "Hi, Daddy! Hi, Daddy!" And
How
I
old were
pretty
they
much
at that
just
time?
had to walk into the house.
How old were they at that time? You remember?
At that time, they were about 6 and 8.
Okay. What happened at the school? The principal or something?
So yes, in 2014, she started dating this fella that's from the area, and he decided he didn't want me to see the children, so he took the reins and started keeping my kids from me. In the summer of 2014, there was about approximately 2.5 months I didn't see my kids. Not because of the courts, it was because of her. Her and him keeping the kids from me. I'm texting my lawyer week after week, telling him what's going on.
Big time no. That guy took some chances.
Yes. So I texted my attorney, and I'm telling him I want to see my kids. I'm going to, I need to go to court and let them know that she's violating my visitation. Every time I spoke to my lawyer, it was, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I gotta go. I'm sitting here cooking breakfast for my kids. Oh, I'm sorry, I have my son's football game." But Matt,
The case, there was a sign that the case was being manipulated.
yes. So this went on for approximately a couple of months. Come September 3rd, it was their second day of school. I legally had visitation with them. So I go to pick them up at school, and my visitation was Wednesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 7 and the weekends. So I picked up my children the first day. The school allowed me to take them because they knew of the visitation order. The following day, that was my visitation, so I figured I'd pick them up again. I went to go pick them up. The school denied me the right to pick them up. I wound up going to court for the next 3 days, trying to see the judge because the school told me that to get today's paperwork in order, and that will prove that the visitation is still in order. I was in front of the judge for 3 days trying to get my paperwork. I finally got the paperwork. I brought it to the school. The principal told me, "Okay, you're all good. No one can stop you from picking up your children." I have to contact
And you
her.
didn't record that or anything. That's just something you remember him
Yes.
saying. Okay.
I have to call her and let her know that we cannot stop you from picking up the children. So
You were always continuing to manage the access of visitation with the children to the order of events that were given before you.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I went and I paid my attorney. I went to court trying to get my visitation back legally, let them know that she's violated my visitation, and some more arrests started at that point because I was taking her to court for the order of protection.
There was a threat at some point, right? That's a threat of what was the threat? Arrest.
I was
Arrested for threat.
arrested for threatening to kill her,
Right.
for supposedly threatening to kill her.
When did this happen? Is that after all this, or
Yes, that
back
would-
in the other?
That was at the end of 2014. That was right after the
all
school
this stuff.
issue.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That was immediately. That was actually.
And how long were you in for that moment in time?
I was in there approximately 3 weeks.
Wow. Now, are your children seeing any of this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so why is this attorney not giving you the paperwork when you need it, other than it appears he's manipulating the case? But could you hold him accountable? Did you think of holding him accountable?
Yes. Yes.
Or telling another attorney that he's not taking care of you, what else can be done?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
You know, I've never been through this before. And again, my whole world was turned upside down. My head was spinning.
Sure.
And I didn't know,
No
what
one
to do.
knows what to do. Don't worry about it. It's an unusual situation. That's one of the reasons why we do these shows like this, to let people know what can happen,
Right.
so that they can avoid the mess that you went through. What happened during the court when the judge said the prosecutor said he could disregard, that the judge said to the prosecutor he could disregard your testimony?
Well, when the arrest started again, after me filing with the court.
It's on the record, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I wound up going to trial for quite a few cases. During my trial, during my making of the visitation, she had mentioned my daughter's chorus concert, which my daughter was in 6th grade at the time. There was a conversation within the hallway that allowed me to go to the chorus concert. I went to the chorus concert, and I didn't realize it until later, because all parties agreed. It never went into any court order. I went to the chorus concert.
How would you know?
I was arrested. The next morning I went to court, and I told the judge there was a conversation in the hallway between all parties that allowed me to go. Her attorney happened to be in the courtroom at the time. Her attorney asked, the judge asked her attorney if he was present during a conversation in the hallway that allowed me to go to this chorus concert, and he said yes. Nobody filed any paperwork that they were supposed to, and they wound up making me go to trial. I went to trial, and
Are you paying for an attorney all this time?
Yes.
This is a good example of how to drain your assets by your local family court that I just spoke about a minute ago. That's what their intention is to take as much money as they can get when they can. All right,
absolutely. So when my ex-wife came on the stand, and she had met, they were talking about me threatening to kill her. She stood on the stand and she said that she was the only one that witnessed it. Her boyfriend and the children were in the house. That
reminds me, the boyfriend. When the quote that you gave me was, "I'm done with you. I'm calling the cops."
Yes, that was at the chorus concert.
For her. That was at that concert.
That was at the concert.
And that's when you got the arrest.
He called the police. He called the police at the concert for her.
So this third party came in and stepped in and got you in trouble.
Yes. Yes.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So when she had said that on the stand, I had a police report that I had ordered from Suffolk County headquarters, stating from him that her boyfriend filled it out, and he was stating that he was the only one that saw it, that he witnessed. Her and the kids were in the house. So when I tried to present this piece of evidence to the courts, I was basically told to shut my mouth. They're not going to accept any evidence, and the jury was told to disregard my statements. So I was not allowed to put in that piece of evidence. Getting to the chorus concert, again, her attorney admitted that he was there during a conversation that allowed me to go to this chorus concert. The judge made me still go through trial. I was begging to subpoena the law guardian, her attorney, everybody that was present during that conversation, and my attorney would not do it. He kept telling me, oh, they won't do it, they won't do it. And I said, well, that's what a subpoena is. You make them do it. They're not going to turn around and lie when her lawyer already admitted to the judge.
It was the only way that I know of that you can do it, so this guy was really in cahoots someplace.
Yes. You know, I even brought that up in trial, that I had witnesses to the jury, that I had witnesses that I was allowed to go to this chorus concert. I was stopped by the prosecutor. There was an objection. The judge agreed with the objection and told the jury to disregard my statements.
Should not be allowed. At this point where you are in the last couple of minutes that we have, what would you say is coming up for you next? And what
I am
what can you do about it?
facing, because of going to my daughter's chorus concert, I am facing 6 months in jail. I took it to, I appealed it. It was denied. I just found out from my appeals.
Did you find out what the basis of the denial was?
My appeal attorney did not tell me yet why they denied it.
Wait, you got to get that information
Yes.
before you go in.
Yes.
As many days as you have left, I think we can hold him accountable for that. We should be able to do that. To give you at least the answer that you know what
Right.
the status of that is. How you hang that over somebody's head, I got a lot of trouble with that. So what would you say is the health and well-being of the children at this time? Do you think that the future will hold for you, that you can see the kids? What's the state of affairs?
Yes. Yes, I can see the children. As a matter of fact, I have 50-50 custody with my son, and my daughter now lives with me. I do have full custody with my daughter.
And was there any paperwork that stated it? Because I'm just curious. Because
It was paperwork that she had gotten from her attorney, and she signed it, signing custody over to me, so that I can put her in a new school district.
how long ago was that, by the way?
This was just a month ago.
So what could they possibly be doing by trying to threaten you with 6 months in jail? Can you tell me where the connection is there? If you have
Yeah,
custody,
they are, yes, I'm a dollar sign. I'm a dollar sign. They don't care about the children. They don't care what the children want. And they want me in jail because they want their federal funds.
they want the money. There's
They
no
want
doubt
the
about
money.
it. So going back to the health and welfare in the last minute, do you think they're stable at this point? You say you have custody of your daughter. You said something about the grades are improved. Tell us about that.
Yes, my daughter had a lot of problems. My daughter's seen a lot. She's only 13 years old. She's been seeing this since she was 6 years old. She's been through so much with this. Watched me get locked up so many times. She's been searching for
Closure?
attention, and she's got wrapped up in the wrong crowds and everything else. And since starting the new school year in a different school, living in my household, I'm so proud of her.
That's
She's
good.
got an 80, her lowest grade is an 87.
So she made a turnaround.
She's made a turnaround. She's never, ever got an 87 in her
Whatever
life.
you got going, the magic you got going with her, can you continue that with your son?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They know where their safe spot is.
Listen, Tim, in case we have to go through this further, I may invite you back for another show, but we're done for the amount of time that we have today. I want to thank you very much, Tim.
You're welcome. Thank
You've
you.
been watching FIT TV, the program that brings you behind the scenes of our divorce culture. At FIT, we know you cannot get this information on your own, so we'll bring it to your TV every single week. My name is Chris DiMaggio. Thank you for watching FIT TV, and we'll see you again next week.